Is man basically good? It's a good question. In fact, so good that many have tried to answer, from spiritual leaders to spiritual gurus to pastors to secular philosophers. And in reality, it's a very important question because it'll show us something about ourselves. And God did create man upright and perfect in the garden, but ever since that fall, our nature has been so corrupted that from every square inch of us is now what we would say depraved. What that means is just it's affected by sin. It has a disease called sin that taints all of our thoughts, our actions, our desires. In Genesis, right after the fall, God looks at his creation and says that he regrets making his creation because their thoughts were continually evil always. And in Romans, we see that man's mind is hostile toward God, and he cannot even choose to do things that he wants to do in a good sense of the term. Romans 3 says that no one chooses God, no one comes after God, no one seeks after God, no one is righteous, no, not one. And that's quoting an old psalm. We also see in Ephesians 2 that by nature, man is a child of wrath, that man is dead in his sins. And so we see the New Testament and even Christ himself in John 8 saying that man is a slave to sin. A slave to sin. And as we know, slaves can't free themselves. They're bound to this way of thinking. So although God did create Adam and Eve perfect and upright in the garden, because of their fall and the sin nature that we now receive as sons and daughters of Adam and Eve, we are not any longer inherently good or good by our nature. In fact, we are enemies of God. In fact, all our good deeds are actually filthy rags before a holy God. From the womb, the psalmist says that from the womb we are already wicked. And so this isn't to say that man can't do good things here and there. No, that's not what we're saying. But we're saying that even the good deeds that man does are inherently tainted with sin. So man is not basically good. In fact, he's basically evil. He's basically sinful, and he needs someone to save him from his sin. And of course, that is the Lord Jesus Christ on the cross, when God punishes him for the sins of his people.